As e-readers continue to make their mark on 2010, Endless Ideas have brought out their third e-reader. That's this, the BeBook Neo. Now, following on from the BeBook Mini, which launched back in November, the Neo comes with a 6-inch screen, Wi-Fi connectivity for ebook downloads, a very basic web browser, and a 532 MHz Freescale processor. Endless Ideas are even boasting that the Neo is the fastest e-reader on the market, with 2.5 times faster operating and browsing speeds than anything on the market. They're even saying it's got a faster ARM11 processor than the Kindle, a feature we're yet to try out, but at this stage we can say that it is pretty quick, but it's not without its lag issues as well. But I'll come on to that later. Now, unlike its predecessors, it has a touchscreen, so it's rivaling models like Sony's PRS 600 Reader Touch Edition. You'll also find a stylus on the back for assistance as well. Okay, so unlike the Kindle, which gives its users access to all its ebooks from one centralised location, which is obviously the Kindle store, the Neo gives its users access to a range of ebook retailers such as W.H. Smith and Waterstones, and this is based on what country you're in, with the theory that you could essentially buy an ebook from anywhere in the world. So it's a good looking, very skinny and lightweight e-reader that still has a simplistic design, only this time it's decided to forego the assortment of buttons in favour of an iPod-like navigational wheel in the middle. It's pretty easy to use. You've got previous, next, menu, back and an OK button in the middle. The Neo also uses e-ink, of course, so it's going to be comfortable on the eye and can be read at any angle. It's got a pretty nice menu layout as well, with icons that are really striking and stand out on the page. Okay, so moving to the back, and it's taken on that iPod iPhone guise that every ebook manufacturer seems to be using recently. And it's got a very firm grip, but the downside to this is it feels like it's been sandblasted, or the back of a kitchen tile, or what I imagine dolphin skin to feel like. So it's a little bit rough, but texture aside, it does sport a very neat and tidy design. Okay, so moving on to usability, and the touchscreen works really well. It's only on the odd occasion that it suffers from serious lag. I experienced it when pulling up the virtual keyboard, and this was especially frustrating because it didn't always register my taps. The same can be said of web browsing. This isn't always a smooth process. And based on all that, in my opinion, the Neo just isn't as responsive as Sony's offering, but it's still pretty decent. But I must warn you, the stylus is a must, as it most certainly will not respond to any of your finger inputs. So, as I mentioned earlier, there's basic web browsing on board to access sites such as Google and Wikipedia. The only downside is that web pages can take forever to download, and sometimes attempting to scroll while it's loading just results in distortion, mess. In fact, it looks broken, so my advice would be to steer well clear of doing that. And as with most e-readers, the web experience isn't going to be mind-blowing, but saying that, the Neo is really good for a quick Google search or some Wikipedia-shaped information. In fact, Stuff.tv even looks really, really good, with web pages replicating exactly what you'd expect if you were using a capable web-compatible device. But now for a negative. The Neo froze on us on the odd occasion, which was incredibly frustrating because there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. But wait, you can't even force it to turn off by holding the power key at the bottom, which I'm not going to lie to you, made me want to pull my hair out. But when it wasn't busy lagging, it did pull up web pages pretty quickly, in fact quite impressively actually. But I have one more negative before I move on from web browsing, and that's that you'll need to reconnect to your Wi-Fi network each time you visit a new web page, which, given the temperamental speed of this thing, is a pretty frustrating process to go through. Okay, so moving on, and the Neo actually sports a Wacom touchscreen. So the usual sketch, markup and annotation options are there. There's also an SD card slot to boost its 512 megabyte internal memory to up to 16 gig, as well as view your images in monochrome. And like the original BeBook, the Neo is good for 7,000 page turns on a single 3-hour charge. So if it takes your fancy, you can pick up a BeBook Neo for around £279. So yes, it is a lot pricier than the Kindle, but of course the Kindle is subsidised by the Kindle store. And apparently there's some firmware updates and cool features expected in the forthcoming year. So make sure you keep it locked on Stuff.tv for everything BeBook Neo, and of course all the latest gadget and technology news and reviews.